Good morning, everybody. This is Max Farrell. This is Dextrader.com. Today is May 1st, 2018, and this is your daily update. All right, everybody, let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about your mentality. I know your mentality is a big topic amongst a lot of people, with politics and everything else that's going on in the world. It's how do you keep a good mentality? How do you keep a good progression? Well, let's talk a little bit about a few things. And I don't want to be too general. I don't want to sit here and tell you, you got to fix your mechanical makeup to be able to trade better. And it's true. You do. You do need a good strong verber, if you will, of perspective. Now, perspective is a very powerful thing for all of us. But what we need when we trade with Nadex is not just an understanding on how Nadex works, but also how Nadex and trading affect us overall. So the concept here is simple. How do I beat back all the little demons and all the little progressions that happen to me when I'm winning, right? Because we have a couple of things. We have a winning mind and a losing mind. Okay? When we're winning, what does that do to us? It boosts our concept, right? We get boosted in our ego, right? We get an ego boost. We're like, all right, yeah, that was great. And when we're losing, how do we feel? Ah, man, this ain't good. It gives us some negativity, right? Now with Nadex, unlike with Forex, because with Forex, I could lose 4 times and win 1 and be fantastic. Why? Because on these, I had a stop loss of 5 pips, and in here, I had to take profit of 100, right? So I only lost 20 pips. I only lost 20 here, but I gained 100 here, right? So I'm positive 80. That makes sense? So that concept can be a little bit daunting when it comes to Nadex, because if you have to win a lot, because you have a statement, you go into an agreement with somebody else and you say at 3 p.m., the Euro USD will be greater than, 1.1280. And you choose whether or not this is going to be right or wrong. And if you choose that it's going to be right and it's going to be greater than, if it turns out to be less than that, you lose. Now, when you buy the contract, when you get into one contract, we're just going to use the standard of 1, it has to equal $100, which means that if I say that it's going to be greater, and let's just say that the price is already at 1.1289, there might be only a contract available for like $20, right? That means the other person who has the other side of the contract has it for 80. Because it's already out of the money for them. It's OTM for them, and it's ITM in the money for us. So our mentalities here is simple. I'm risking more, so I have even more pressure on me for it to be successful. Or the other person who has it doesn't really have to be as, hey, I don't need that much more of a winning ratio. I only need to be right 20% of the time to win my money, where I need to be right 80% of the time to win my money. So ITM and OTM mentality is really the big nullifier here. So the concept of trading on Nadex comes with so much understanding that you have to be a super winner, right? You have to win 80% of the time, especially if you're using ITM trades. So in order to do that, what is the one thing that you can do that won't ensure 100% success, but you have to be able to create yourself a level of rules, right? And what I mean by that is that every single trade that you get into on Nadex, you should have followed a flow or a flow sheet or a flow chart of what you should be doing. Let me give you an example. I'll show you the basic signals here. And the basic signals I use this as my primary, right? Like I have three tools that we use. I use my signals, I use the chart, and I use the Nadex exchange to agree or disagree whether or not I should be in a trade or hunting that trade out. The first thing that I physically do when I look, now today is a bunch of news running. This is why we're not trading on the actual trades. Plus, it's an NFP week, so I'm very, very careful on the NFP week because I don't like losing, right? And I don't like getting into trades that I don't want to be in. So they have to meet certain criteria. And when there's news running, I can't meet that criteria. All right, but what the criteria looks like is this. I first, in a batch of signals that come out, like look at all these 815s. At 8:15, if I was here and I came in and I looked at this and all these had just released at 8:15, the very first thing I would do is hunt out, where's the best? What's the best? 94, 97, 95, 96, 98. 98, Euro USD. Boom, boom, boom. I isolated the best. There we go. This is the first one that I would look at. Now, all the other ones, they can come later. But I want to look for what's the best, right? There, I've isolated the best. Now, what I do is that I run over to Nadex and I look to see, is there a price for a statement for that solution? Is there a price on the Euro USD? Is there an available at this line? Is there any money on that trade? And most cases, at first glance, when, unless there's a lot of super movement in the market, there's usually not a good price on it because these are set as range trades, okay? But what I'm looking for is the availability. Is there a price on this? And is there a good possibility that there could be a retracement so I could put a working order on? That's all I'm looking for. I'm looking to set either, can I get into a good price? Is there a working order that I can put on? Or can I do a choke? So there's three things. Is there a price available now? Can I put a working order? If not, or can I do a choke up? Now, a choke up means that if a price is at let's say 180, and it's in 20 pip increments, the next one on the sell side would be 1.1, that was 1800, so it'd be 1780, right? Not that that's the number there. Let's just look, let's deal with some reality here. Sorry, hang on one second. If the sell price was 1.2040, because the last zero doesn't get put on, all right? The next one down would be 2020, right? So could I choke to that? And so I've looked, there's no price. I can't get in there. I don't know if I want to put a working order in yet because I want to check next, can I choke it? Now, I never put a working order on a choke. Never, 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 ever, ever, never, ever. The reason being because if it's not there, if I don't already have money on a choke, I'm not looking to move it to that point, okay? So how I find that variable to see if there's a choke is that I look at history. I isolate my pair. I go to the sell side because I'm looking just to look at the sell side because sell side and buy sides act differently. And then I look, because it's in 20 pip increments, I look to see, hey, is the majority of the wins, because remember, this is a win ratio, but this is how many it's won by, right? And I look, how many, there's one that's not 20 pips, there's one that's not 20 pips. And that's only 2 out of how many? So it's a pretty good concept that, hey, could we hit the 2040? Could we use the 2020 then, okay, because it goes to 2040 or here, could we use the 2020 as the trade? And the answer is yes. I would definitely do this one. Also, there's no losses in this particular batch. And at the 11 o'clock hour, there always seems to be a great possibility of success. More than 20 pips. So now what I have done is that I've checked it against other pairs. I have checked it against itself, and I've made a case. Can I be into this trade? I can also float down here and look to see down in the USD and see what there's 4 trades that happened, 100%, 94 this week. Right? So the concept here is simple. I make myself available to be into a trade only by following my rules. And my rules aren't about how many trades can I be in. It's how many trades can I be in that are perfect. And they don't become perfect by the signals themselves. They become perfect by you validating, should I be in that trade? Am I going after the right one? That set of rules is done without emotion. There wasn't one thing that I said in there about getting into any of that Euro USD trade that said, I feel the market's pretty good right now. Let me go speculate. There was no speculation. It was all by data and information. Now, is there a part of trading that's somewhat gut felt? Yes, absolutely. But it's usually because your data is telling you and screaming at you, hey, don't do that. If we go back to the signals and you look at the basic signals onto the daily, we're just talking dailies, okay? We look at that Euro USD. What do you see now within that 11 o'clock hour is the one thing that could have set you apart on everything else. What is the one thing is that there's a little bit of divergence happening with the market one way or another, because we didn't even look at a chart yet. Because that's the other thing. That's one of the last parts that we could just have used the signal system here and said, okay, let's see that, right? Is that I have a base pair with a sell and a sell, right? But then the euro here has a buy. Now, this can happen in trade, so could this have been a nullifier for my trade? And the answer is yes, it could have been, if that was your rule. Because I'm not here to force rules on you and say, follow these rules and you'll be successful. You have to find what that rule works for you. For me, this would have made me go look at the chart. And I have to make my perspective and my analysis at that point. And what I'm doing now is that I'm going to go to the chart, and what I'm going to look at on the chart, first of all, there's a lot of lines on this chart, as you can kind of see. So I'm not here to say that you use all the lines that I use. If you want to use a naked chart, it's real simple, right? How do you use a naked chart? You just grab something with no indicators on it, and you look at what we refer to as levels, okay? And you're looking at support and resistant levels. You're looking at where does it come up. This is very artistic. Okay, there's a line, there's a line. You know, you're looking for relevance, right? You're looking for where has it done it before. And we can easily see that there's a dropping trending market is a sell market here, a sell trend. Okay, is our pair in a sell? Did our signal say sell? And it says yes. So is it going south? And the answer is yes. Okay. 1993, we're sitting where it's at right now. So that pair sitting up here at 2020 is all the way up here. So that choke that we could have got into it at 8:15, which was right here, actually 2 hours ago. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, it was all the way up here. So this would have been almost an OTM trade that we could have got in on. We would have had money on the 1.2040. That would have been right here, because it would have been 2033. There would definitely have been money on it, and this would have been a trade to be in. And because news came out and it really fluttered and it kicked everybody in the ass, because look at that bar right there. There's a whole bunch of news that happened. Probably pushed a lot of people around this morning. That's why we didn't get in. Now, there are ways that I could teach you to trade the news and how to operate that process, but it becomes very very difficult to set yourself, and you have to understand that you will have losses. You said you have to have more wins than you have losses. Right? Okay. So the idea here is, how do I set my mentality to accept a trade and get into it? Is that you have to pick the perfect or the best. Now, if you got there and the Euro USD just didn't have anything on it, go to the next best, 97.20, right? Or 97.3, Great Britain Pound JPY. And you do the same thing. You go there, you look at the price, you see, is there anything on Nadex? You know, Great Britain Pound, sell, Great Britain Pound, sell, Euro, Great Britain Pound, buy. You see? So the Great Britain Pound, you know, market is in the right direction. It's doing the right thing. Okay? So then I would go look at the price. I would look at scalp. I would look at the choke. I would look to see what is the win rate at this time period. There's all these things that we look at, and then we say, is this something I should be in? And if there's price available, you get in. If there's not, you put a working order on that at that number. Why? Because if it fills, you have a 97.3% chance of it winning. If it doesn't, if you don't have a working order on, and you have the availability to do a choke up, right? Just come in, do Great Britain on JPY on the sell, and there we go. Look at that, right? Every single pair, every single win has been more than 20 pips. So I could have choked up. But again, don't put a working order on a choke. You get where all this is going? So the idea of using the daily signals as a variant of a tool is very powerful for all of you. But your mentality has to be right. There has to be no mentality in this process. It's rule-based. But you have to set that rule. Look at the pair, look at the process, and move on. And if it's not there, don't trade it. If I were to tell you that you have an availability to win a tremendous amount of your trades, 90% and above, but you have to limit the amount of trades that you do by the rule set, then you have to just work with our other algorithm, right? So let's work the numbers. Let's just say you do one trade a day. And that's 20 days, right? You do 20 trades. You're doing an average, just say right in the very beginning, you're only doing one contract, right? And you're winning an average of $20 per trade. So you times that, that's $400 per month. And you're looking at this, and immediately I could tell, because even I get triggered by it, going, ugh, I can't trade with that amount. I can't live on that amount, right? But now let me show you. 20 trades, that's one contract. What if you're trading 10 contracts? You've established the fact that you can do one trade a day, okay, and that you have a very high rate of success, 90%, so you would win however many that is, 18 trades a month. You would lose on the 20, so you would lose 160, whatever that money is, but you win 18 trades, right? So you win 18. So, but the number is, let's just use 20 for the roundabout. Let's say you end up trading 22 times or whatever. But the concept becomes, how do I make more money? And it's simply trade more contracts. You've established that you can win a high rate of success, okay? And that's not a lot of trades. I do about 3 or 4 trades a day in the Nadex platform. When I was really doing it, I was doing 5 to 10 a day, because I was doing intradays and SR maxes and a few other things. But the more I touched the market, the more I had opportunity to lose. So I limited myself to only trade with the mentality of the flow and follow that process. And I started to look at, all right, how am I making $6,000 a month? And what I was doing was that I was only trading 3 or 4 times a day, but I was trading with 10 contracts because my balance was set. My mentality was just follow the rule set. I don't get into a trade. And maybe some days I don't trade at all. And then other trades I'm trading 10 times for that day. Or maybe I don't trade at all and I miss a mark. I miss an opportunity and I only make $4,800 that month. But I know where I'm set. I already know the days that I'm going to trade because I'm going to trade non-news days. I'm only trading 4 or 5 times that day. I know what I have to look for. Sometimes I may trade the 8 to 12 or the 8 to 11 session. Sometimes I may trade the 12 to 3 session. Sometimes I may trade the 8 at night to 11 p.m. session. But somewhere in here, I'm getting my 3 or 4 trades a day that I'm happening. And this is what gets me my money because I use the algorithm CVG. Because I've used my patience plus discipline to get to my consistency, I then just have to increase my balance so I can increase my volume. So I can get to my money. But I've created my fact of consistency because I've created a good work mentality and a good ethic mentality in trading. I hope this helps you today because this was more about learning about the solutions of how do I trade the mentality. And be quite honest with you, you take the mentality out of it and you create it to be a production, and that production has a flow that it has to do these certain things before you can get in. Follow those, learn how to use that mentality I just showed you through trading, and watch your success increase. I'm Max Farrow. This is Dextrader.com. Today's daily update was a learning system that I'm putting together and I'm going to be doing. Lastly, I want to talk to you about a webinar process that's coming on board. We're going to have on our calendar, and I'll show you here. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Trading with Max. Now listen, this is called Trading with Max, but I'm not trading with you. I'm not telling you, okay, everybody go here and go do this, right? I'm just trading. And you can follow along if you want to in your own mind, but listen, I'm not responsible for your wins or losses. I'm following my rule set when I get in. There's no speculation. This market, I think maybe okay. I'm using my flow, what I just showed you every day. Now, depending on, like today, it might be a little bit later, about 1 p.m., but you'll be able to go in here and you'll be able to click on, you'll see where it says Zoom. If you're a member, you'll be able to click on, you get in that absolutely for free, right? And then at an hour after we start, because for the first hour, it's all members. And then the second hour that we have that I'll be in there trading and following trades and doing things, I'll be inviting people from Facebook and everybody else, the general public, in to that particular webinar link so you could, see how we're doing and people can see, what we're doing because we're looking to build our services out to even more. We have a lot of people now, but I want even more. I want to help even more people. We're getting a lot of good response from all of our systems, and I'm really, really happy on what we're doing. Okay, because there'll be 5-minute trading, there'll be SR Max trading. You never know what you're going to get every day. It might be a completely different flow. There'll be demo, there'll be live, there'll be everything. But you'll get something from it, and I'll be there every day for you. I'll be able to add, you'll be able to ask questions, you'll be able to make statements, you'll be able to show trades and setups that you've done and really make it happen. All right? All right. I'm Max. This is Dextrader.com. Today is May 1st, 2018. I really appreciate you. I hope you all got something from today. I look forward to seeing you inside. And as always, trade well.